Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you once again for coming to today's Aligned Living Circle. Today's focus is action and illumination for growth. And this week's aspect is integration. We do the mind, body, spirit. Today is the integration week. So we're pulling all of these things together and how they can benefit us as a whole. Let's go ahead and set intentions today. Take a moment and just close your eyes. Pause. Fill your body, fill your mind, and take a really deep breath. Center your energy and get into alignment for today's work. Put one hand on your heart, the other one on your stomach. Take another intentional breath. And maybe this is your first intentional breath of the day. Let yourself just be in this moment right now. Now, within yourself, set your intentions for this session. Ask that whatever you need is what you will receive today. Set that intention. Take one more deep breath. And so it is. So our first ally this week is barn owl. I'm a big fan of owls. Barn owl this time of year is seen a lot more often than normal because they're hunting a lot more than normal. Food is scarce, so they're spending a lot more time searching for it. And owls are incredibly prevalent in mythology with a lot of mystery surrounding them. They have been seen as divine messengers. They've been seen as deities. They've been worshipped, but they've also been seen as omens of evil, of misfortune. They've also been seen as incarnations of evil spirits. So it's a very conflicting narrative. Owls as a whole are just very misunderstood. Barn owls are one of the most misunderstood owls, in my opinion, because they do have a ghostly appearance. They look very different than most owls. They have this really bright white feather coat, and they have little flecks of gold. They have very dark eyes. They're called the ghost owl very often. And understandably so, because when you see them swooping through the air in the middle of the night, that can look pretty ghostly. And they also have these shrill screams. They have a lot of spooky aspects. But part of what barn owl is teaching us today is that they're actually a light for us in the dark. If we choose, we can allow them to guide us through our inner darkness. And owls in general are really known for their incredible vision. They're skilled hunters. They can detect very subtle movements in the dark, in the pitch black. And this represents their ability to see what's hidden, to detect subtle shifts in energy and in other people. But most owls have yellow eyes, which is a reminder, a signal of solar energy being present in night. But barn owls have black eyes. And so part of the medicine of barn owl for this week is helping us to see internally, to see within ourselves, into our shadow. And they're giving us the ability to see through any inner darkness to find our truth, our personal truth. A unique ability of barn owl is that they hunt most effectively with sound rather than sight. They swivel their heads very dramatically. They rock back and forth, and they use echolocation. They click and they clack. They use echolocation to accurately pinpoint mice. And this means that we're able to go inward and listen. We can hear with clarity and find exactly what we're seeking, our mouse, if you will, of personal wisdom. A fun fact about barn owl ears is they are asymmetrical. They're not evenly placed. and that allows them to hunt more accurately. For us, this means we're able to listen on all levels, above, below, and within. We can call on barn owl to integrate these messages into our life and to cut through any anxiety that might be standing in the way. And barn owls are associated with intuition. With their heightened senses, they can discern true intuitive knowing over fear, over worry, over anxiety. And barn owls have a very unique look, right? They look very different. Part of this is their heart-shaped face. Their faces are this perfect little heart. And this really represents the unity of the heart and the mind. That ability to balance our emotions with our thoughts, which really does make them a powerful ally for working with intuition. Another fascinating and heavily symbolic facet of owls is how they eat. They swallow their prey whole, head first, and then they regurgitate up the parts that they can't digest. It is what it is. But this means for us that we can take in, we can bring into ourselves knowledge and information from the outside. We can integrate the value, integrate those good things that are supportive to us, and then release the parts that don't align with us. Let them go. They do not serve us, and we can get rid of them. So this week, call on barn owl to guide you when you're shuffling around in the dark and searching for answers. Now, let's talk about our plant ally of the week, valerian root. Valerian root has been used for centuries for healing physically and spiritually. It has a really, really powerful medicine that in medieval times, it was called all heal. They used the term all heal because this was an herb that did a lot of healing. Today, valerian root is used in topical medicines for soothing muscle pains. It also has the ability to calm muscle twitching and cramping. This plant is ruled by Mercury. This is a mercurial plant. And this means that this plant affects the mind and the nervous system. This category of herbs, mercurial herbs, move quickly and they balance us, very mercurial energy. And this herb in particular calms us and allows us to focus, which brings clarity in our most chaotic times. It also allows our conscious mind and subconscious mind to communicate more effectively, more easily. In magic, valerian root is used for protection and creating harmony, both within ourselves and in our environment. So this week, we are using valerian root to cut out the unwanted and create a sanctuary within ourselves. It's also able to unlock our creativity and let that flow, especially when it's being held back by overwhelming thoughts, anxiety, that's a common theme this week, and let those blocks go so we can really flow with the energy of our intuition and our creativity. Valerian is also very grounding, and this grounding energy makes it a great herb for shadow work and healing, especially when going into our subconscious mind. And then we will get into our tools for the week. So with these supporting energies, our tool this week is learning to discern between intuition and anxiety. This is a really common struggle with discerning intuition and anxiety. It's difficult. Truly, it is difficult, especially when you're first starting out, but it is possible. There are a few key differences between the two that will help us pinpoint exactly how to decipher this. So first, anxiety. Anxiety is at its core based in fear. It's based in a little bit of chaos. And so it will feel frantic. It will feel panicked. It will feel urgent. We may feel a sense of dread, and it's often, fascinatingly enough, cyclical in nature. If it's coming up and it's cycling and it's coming back, often a sign that it's anxiety. It also is a thought and energy that does not want to wait. It wants immediate answers or action. And we also know that anxiety is often accompanied by physical symptoms, heart racing, breathlessness, chest pain, even subtle things. And anxiety is also not aligned often with who we are as a person, with our true self, our values. It's not aligned with that. So if you're having things come in and they're not really aligned with you, question that. So then intuition. Intuition is based in knowing. It's not a fear, it's based in knowing. So it will feel calm. It will sometimes feel peaceful or confident. It can feel neutral, but at its core, it will feel stable. It will feel grounded. Above everything else, it will feel grounded. Even when it's something that's not so pleasant, even if it's something that might be scary, when that intuition hits, it will feel clear and it will feel grounded. That's, for me personally, the biggest hallmark is, even when it's a negative or a scary thing, the first hit of that intuition is very grounded. Intuition always also aligns with our true self and who we actually are. I think it's valuable to define that intuition is knowing without really a reason. It's knowing without being able to point to a reason. It's clarity that comes to us before we start thinking and analyzing things. It's that clarity. Our intuition will hit very suddenly. It's like a sudden strike, but anxiety starts as a very small thought that will very quickly build. So when intuition hits, it's sudden, it's like a download. You hit, it's there. But with anxiety, you'll start to get a little bit of a thought just starting to peek through, and it just rapidly escalates. And to cultivate intuition, a better, healthier intuition, we do need to focus on living in the present. If we're living in the future and attached to outcomes, really focused on the outcome, that kind of shuts off our intuition. It's very loud and it doesn't allow intuition to really pop in and speak clearly. So when we're working proactively at our goals and living in the present, that is when our intuition is going to come through a lot more clearly than when we're living in the future and really attached to specific outcomes. So take time this week to pay attention to your thoughts and begin discerning what is anxiety and what is intuition. So I'll give you 3 things to really ask yourself throughout the week as these things come up. 1 will be notice what your body is doing. 2 will be notice what emotions, what feelings come with it. And 3 will be notice how quickly the information comes to you. Last note, it can take time to learn how your intuition feels for you personally. Everybody's intuition is different. A lot of people will feel it in their gut, but a lot of people say that anxiety hits them in the gut. Some people say anxiety hits them in the chest. And it's very different for everybody. It's valuable, it's worthwhile to, as you're stopping and pausing and really thinking about these things, to also ask yourself, where do I feel this in my body? Where do I feel this in my head? And what is the feeling? Is it buzzy? Is it heavy? All of those are clues as to how your intuition works personally. And that really helped me to develop my intuition. I'm a big proponent of just taking 10 seconds to type in my phone, had a moment, think it's anxiety, this is what I felt. Had a moment, thought it was intuition, and a few keywords. And I've found that to be very effective in really honing in what my intuition and anxiety feel like. And remember, as we go through the week and use these tools, to call on the energy of these allies. And if you're not aware, if you're not certain how to call on the energy of something like this, It's truly as simple as setting the intention. Personally, I like to take just a few moments to breathe, just like we did at the beginning of this session. Breathe, and I'm a visualizer, so I will pull up the image of Valerian root or of the barn owl, or just say the name to myself and ask them for what I'm asking for. Just call on them, feel their energy come in, or just breathe in with the intention. And that's a really effective, honestly, and simple way to tap into allies that aren't physically in front of you. Well,
Thank you.
that is everything I have for you guys today. I do want to thank you all very much for showing up once again. It's such a lovely time to be able to host this space for you guys. I really do enjoy it so much, every aspect of it. So this is life-giving, and I look forward to seeing all of you next week. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for coming.